Well, good afternoon in my time, Andrew, and your time.
It's good evening over here, Ulrike. It's great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. Nice to meet you. We have a special theme today where we want to talk about mental fitness in between the families, which means today that we want to talk about letting them go, which can be quite hard sometimes to let our kids go and do something else. They grow bigger and bigger, and
Mm, mm.
which experiences do you have in this case?
Ulrike, it's a fascinating topic because I think it's important that we acknowledge there's letting go through various stages of a child's life. And as a primary school principal, or a recently retired primary school principal, and as a father of two young adults, I've observed the transition points where mums and dads, or parents, almost go through a grieving process where they've got to let their children go. And let me just get your thoughts on a few of these transition processes. Firstly, many children are in daycare. Certainly in Australia, they're in a daycare from very, very young ages. I don't know if it's the same in Germany, but certainly in Australia, there are lots of children in daycare from a very young age. Now, the children grew up with that expectation, so that transition probably isn't as significant as when a child would go 4 or 5 days a week to a kindergarten or a daycare centre. And then from that transition, they'll be going through to primary school. And then from primary school, they'll be going through to high school. High school, might go to university or work. Each of those transition points, there's an opportunity for mum and dad to empower their children, but there's almost a grieving for some families to say, I've got to let them go. It'll be okay. I'll trust the other caring adults who are responsible for our children when they're away from home. Like, what are your thoughts? Would that be a similar experience for you?
Well, I also have three kids, and I was
Yes.
teaching like 20,000 of them, and some of the 20,000 I had for 2 years, some of them
Mm,
for 7 or more years
yeah. Yeah.
teaching. It is always a process where you think, even after 2 years, oh, now I have to let them go. And
Mm,
the teaching I did with them, as heart opened as I am,
yeah.
you just let them go into their life. You don't know what is happening and
Mm,
what are their parents are letting grow over these seeds. And
mm.
the own kids, yeah, it's even harder.
That's absolutely, absolutely.
You bring them into the kindergarten, and I remember the first, my big child, my daughter, when she went the first time to the kindergarten, she didn't want to go there, and she
Yeah.
said, "No, mom, stay here." And
Yeah.
this time was that you had to go. You couldn't
Mm,
stay there. You didn't have those 1 or 4 weeks which they used to spend for the kids nowadays. So
that's right.
we had to leave.
Yeah.
And I went round the corner, and I was crying for myself.
Mm,
It just hurt me. And then the next point comes, they go to school, and you let them walk on their own, and
yes.
yeah, you have thoughts like sorrows, or yeah, it something happens with you because you think, oh my goodness, does she come home
Yeah.
safely?
Yeah.
And if you are those control freak parents, which
Yes.
should not be bad, it is just you're a good dad, I'm a good mom
Mm,
from the heart,
mm,
but you give in those thoughts of, now I think it's negative energy.
yeah.
It is not good for the children. And my
No.
son, he was at one point telling me he went to a job for half a year to Great Britain in Oxford.
Yes.
And there I was with my thoughts, oh my goodness, they drive on the left side, we drive on the right. He has a car and he is working there. And yeah, what else? They are in a house, five boys.
Mm,
So you can think everything and you can block them with your own thoughts. And he was telling to me, it is long ago, because now he's 35,
wow.
and he said, Mom, it is my life. Please let me go. Always, also with your thoughts. And I said, oh, you're right.
Yeah,
That's true.
absolutely.
So I think our task is to let them grow. We want them seeing growing,
Yeah,
but we also, it is our task to let them go and do their own things,
yeah,
to evolve their own potential and be themselves and not me.
absolutely. It creates an interesting tension, though, doesn't it, Ulrich, for being caring parents and creating a safe environment and then trusting the world and other caring adults to look after them through all their transitions in life. And what you've described, I can appreciate very much. And my children are a little bit younger than yours. And tomorrow we will transition our son as he moves away from my wife and I for the first time for a 5.5 hour drive away. And yet I'm confident that we've put systems in place through his last 22 years that have given him the confidence to say, I can do this. I have absolutely no doubt there's a few nerves, and I think nerves are not a bad thing. I also think if we've created an environment and a culture whereby they can say, I'll try this, they know mum and dad have got their back, or their parents have got their back, and they'll always be there from any age. It's the same as when a child starts school from kindergarten to school. And what you described, I can appreciate being a principal. I've watched many, many parents shed a tear as they've walked out the school gate on that very first day of handing their child over. And I've said to those parents, it'll be okay. Reassure your child that you'll be back at 3 o'clock to pick them up. Reassure your child that these two caring adults, as a teacher and a teacher aide, will look after them. And reassure them that they've got all their lunches and their drinks and the supplies they need for school and that you'll be back. And those lessons in life, I think, give children the confidence to be resilient, to
Mm.
know who to go to if they've got to ask a question of another caring adult when mum and dad or the parents aren't available. I think there's a huge responsibility on mums and dads to let go at some point. And I also say to parents often, or Rick, and please tell me if you agree with this, I say the children will feed off mum and dad's energy. And if mum and dad appear to be nervous and anxious about handing the child over, then the child might get nervous and anxious. And I said, despite what the parents are feeling, and I appreciate parents feel nervous and anxious when they're handing over their most precious children to teachers, I've said to them, but please keep a straight face, put a smile on your face, despite the nerves and the anxiety you might be feeling. Disappear into the car or the coffee shop with your friends and go and share stories and have a tear if you need to. But your children will feed off your energy. And if you're confident and you portray that, they'll go, this is going to be okay. This is going to be okay. And even for my 22-year-old tomorrow, I'm saying, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Despite the fact that I'll miss him terribly and my wife will miss him terribly. He's a 5 hour drive. It's okay. We've got internet, phones, it's all happening. Do you agree with that, though, that children feed off mum and dad's parents' energy?
Of course, they do.
Yeah.
They know exactly your feelings, and feelings are an energy, and you
Yes.
are connected with them from their
Mm,
birth on. So
absolutely.
they are the ones, they know you better than your wife.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, yeah, they know your feelings when they came to Earth, and they know
Mm,
exactly when they got to kindergarten and to all those processes to school. And yeah, there are even more things. And later they, I don't know, they want to marry, get babies, what if they want,
mm.
or something else.
Yeah.
And it is always a process of letting go. And
Yeah.
there is one thing they know exactly, and I remember that I was the same. I knew exactly how my parents felt in those
Mm.
cases.
Yeah.
And if you are an empathic person
Yeah.
and you go into the energy of the parents, mom
Yes.
or dad, you cannot live your thing, what you should do. You cannot live your potential, I love to say, because the energy of the parents blocks you.
Mm.
I
Very
didn't
true.
know it when 30 years ago or whatever, when my kids went to kindergarten. But nowadays, I
Yeah.
would say, learn this mental stuff to let them go easily.
Yeah.
And there is always a point in your system, in your head, there
Yes.
starts always, where you had the same energy and the same problems and challenges with your parents.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And if you remember that,
Yeah.
you will find it and then you
Mm.
can let it go easier. And that helps the kids the most, the own
Absolutely.
kids the most.
Or may I ask, if you were to give some young parents or some first-time parents some advice about ways to make that transition from, say, kindergarten to school or primary school to high school, what advice would you give first-time parents to say, it'll be okay, you're responsible, build resilience? Like, how do you instill that philosophy or that practice in first-time parents?
Mm. Well, I would say take a lot of confidence for your kids.
Hmm.
See them big and not small,
Yeah.
and give them everything they need. So be creative and be just in your flow, where
Yes.
you can feel, always feel what is the best now, and do not. Um, I can't remember the English word. Sorry. Do not change your feelings with their feelings, so
Hmm.
that you can always be the person who thinks big and sees the big potential for the kid. So yeah,
Yeah, great.
be confident. It's
Great.
a big
Let
point.
me ask, what are your thoughts on the philosophy of giving children as much information as they need to
Mm.
understand transition, practicing in some ways the transitions, so that the familiarity of a context or an environment builds confidence? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, show them soft skills,
Yeah,
mental skills, which are not too big, not
yeah,
for adults. When they are young, they need the small soft skills,
yeah,
which are just a thought sometimes, or
yeah.
just music, a earworm in your head.
Mm, mm,
And yeah, little kids between 0 and 7, so the first phase of a childhood, works very, very good with music. If you think in
yeah,
frequencies of music and give them a lot of music and sing as much as you can in a positive way
yep,
for the kids, and then they learn to sing inside their big
yes,
potential. If they are bigger and older, they need really soft skills.
mm,
And well, in school, from up to the first grade to the fourth or something, they need
mm,
also a lot of music, but also little soft skills with the meridians, the tapping points,
mm,
those things
mm,
I love to do with the kids. And when they are upgrades, then they need more. They need to know more about the mental stuff. They need more skills because they have already this bin of, well, a lot of emotional triggers
Yes.
inside where they need skills to help themselves.
Yeah. I
So
think some of your ideas are perfect for all ages when children can have a soft skill, as you describe it, that they can tap into. And it might be very personal to them, and it might be just a rhyme or a song or an earworm that they can just repeat. So that's a strategy that can possibly keep them calm if they're feeling slightly heightened or if they're feeling anxious or worried. Music is so important and it can be really, really personal. So I think that's a great skill that we should give our children from a really young age, which gives them comfort and joy. I'm not sure what it's like in Germany, but certainly in Australia, we would see many children with headphones on walking around the world in their own little world, literally in their own little world, which is not great all the time. And yet there are occasions where some children just need to be in their own space, be it silence or be it with some soothing music. So I think your suggestion about having music as an important soft skill, as a resilient strategy and a calming strategy is so key as
yes,
children transition through all these phases throughout their lives, for sure.
we have them also, those kids in Germany, and I'm sometimes in France driving the TGV or the metro, and
Yes.
there are a lot of young people with the headphones on. I
Mm.
think they look for the music and they can listen to the music or podcasts or whatever they listen
Yeah.
to. And this is a good thing. But for a
Yeah.
young age,
Mm.
between I would say 0 and 10, is not
Yes.
good. It is,
I
they
agree.
make it too loud, they damage their ears,
Yeah.
and it is not made for them. They should sing their own music and first learn the own
Mm.
music inside, and then
Mm.
they can listen to some other music. But if children do not learn a melody and
Yes.
sing and form a melody from my own force, from my own insight, they
Mm.
cannot express and understand the music which is made by somewhere, by someone
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Very true.
So I think this is a point which is the whole world, which well, which is everywhere.
Yes.
The young people walk around with the headphones. So let's go back to the families. What could you
Yes.
do with the kids coming home with the headphones and they do not
Mm.
want to listen what the parents are talking to?
Yeah. It's actually been a great topic of debate in Australia recently. Headphones as well as mobile devices, where children just get absorbed into these technologies, and in some ways, miss out on the communication strategies. There was a report recently in a paper in Australia where they were talking about mum and dad almost having to bribe their teenage children with incentives to keep off devices and to practice communicating with mum and dad until they reach a certain age, or not have access to social media until they reach a certain age, so that the children can learn the skills. Look, I think, rightly or wrongly, devices are a part of our world. But I think it's important, though, that parents be friendly to their children, but not necessarily friend to their children, because there's a
Mm.
different dynamic when a parent has to be, in some ways, the disciplinarian or the authority, but they can do it in a friendly way to provide a safe environment for their children's development, both physically and mentally, to look after their mental well-being as well as their physical well-being. So I often say to parents, have more, in particularly young children, have more green time, get outdoors, run around, play, experience, explore the world, and less screen time. So televisions, phones, mobile devices, minimize that and explore the world. Uh, there is a problem, I think, in some countries, particularly Australia, that I'm familiar with, where mums and dads try and keep up with what the neighbours allowed their children to do. And it's
Mm.
really hard for parents, in some ways, to maintain their own sense of self and sense of autonomy and sense of worth when their children would say, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith let their children do it. Why can't we do it?
Mhm.
Well, they're not our values. We have to keep you safe, and this is how
Mhm.
mum and I do this. Look, it's really difficult. I think if we can reassure children that we're acting in their best interest, and they may not appreciate it until they're young adults. Certainly, children and teenagers will not understand necessarily the rationale behind mum and dad's decisions or their parents' decisions, but certainly if we can re-emphasize, we're acting in your best interest, we want to keep you safe, we want to explore the world in a good environment, a safe way, but let's do it with some parameters. And I think children like parameters. I think most children thrive in safe environments where there are parameters.
Yes,
Um, would you agree?
I would agree. And I was always telling them if they wanted something, yeah, they didn't have headphones, but when my kids were young, the
Yeah.
first mobile phones with a big antenna came.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, I said, you have the wrong mom. It's your challenge.
Yeah.
And that was always my sentence. Sorry, wrong mom. And later they were telling me that this was a good understanding for them. I
Right.
was different. In our family, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And my point of to be stable in this point
Yes.
and my understanding for what I want for the kids and for our family
Mm.
was at some point so secure and so safe for them. They knew already before what I'm gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you have a different mom. Finish.
Absolutely.
And this
Absolutely.
is this is what you need sometimes to be just yourself and to stay and be stable for this. Yeah,
Mm.
for
We have
this
a very
moment.
similar philosophy, Ulrich. It's great to know that it's worldwide, I think, and parents should take confidence in
Yes.
being themselves. And look, we know parenting is probably the hardest gig in the world, and yet it's also the most rewarding gig in the world. So if these few words can help parents understand the importance of transition, let me give you one last question though. What's your philosophy or belief on how parents should respond when their children fail? And the reason I'm asking is because failing to me is another point of transition where parents almost have to let go when things don't go according to plan. What are your thoughts on that?
Good question. The true point is that I was celebrating those points.
Hmm.
They were always irritated. Hey, mom, you're okay? And I said, yes, hooray! Because they had such a perfectionism sometimes, my kids, in themselves,
Right.
to
Yes.
be the best and to be whatever. And I was telling them, people, I wasn't like you. I
Yes.
wanted to study music. I knew that when I was 11. And I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to graduate for this point. I
Yeah.
didn't mind which notes were there and what is
Yeah.
standing there. I just wanted to study. That was my
Yeah.
point. And yeah, and then my son at one point said he went to a new school. He wanted to change school, and this was completely new for him because there were a lot of sportive people,
Right.
really sportive people. They went to the Olympia Games
Oh,
and they were really good. So they were not good in mathematics because they had a lot of games and outside arrangements where they
yeah.
days and weeks where they haven't been to school.
Right.
So he was really good in mathematics. And his first note there and
Mm-hmm.
yeah was the best. So
Mm-hmm.
he was the best of the class in this mathematic performance. And he came home. He was very sad. I said, "What's happening? I was
Yeah.
the best. I don't have any more friends there." And I said,
Oh.
No problem. Make it bad, the next one. Do whatever you need to have friends
Mm,
if it's good for you. And he laughed and said, I already have an idea. I write it down very quickly, the first two or three tasks, and then I hold it up that everybody can see it. I said, okay, go for it. And he
yeah.
did it. And he came home so proud and so lucky because the teacher came and took his tasks and said, oh,
Yes.
this doesn't work. You failed. So
Yes.
he came home and was proud because everybody was his friend. And he had
Yeah.
the whole classroom as a friend.
Yeah.
And that was, yeah, a big transformation for him
Mm,
because everybody behind him in the first 5 minutes, they could write it down and he helped them.
yes.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you have to be open to the solution, which is sometimes crazy. But
Yeah.
he has a crazy mom, and yeah, so he could do it and yeah, talk about it with them. And look, not they do not have to have perfect. It is not
No.
good.
And that's a really important lesson, isn't it, Ulrich? Because if children go through life without a lot of effort and they're always successful and they don't have to try sometimes, or even if they do have to try and they're always successful and they're always getting great marks and they're always good at music or sport or art or chess, whatever, the first time that they fail, in inverted commas, can be really traumatic for them. And I've often said to parents when I was a principal that failing shouldn't be a word, it should be an acronym. It should mean first attempt in learning. And I think if we can use that term as an acronym, then it's not a case of you can't do it yet. You might be able to do it soon. You can't do it yet. And if you do make a mistake and you learn from it, then that's great. Parents who always anticipate and expect their children will be the best and will never make a mistake and never get it wrong, I think are doing their children a huge disservice because life is not like that. At some point, they will fail in inverted commas and they will make mistakes eventually. And if they haven't learnt that that's okay and that's a learning point and that their parents still love them, their teachers still love them, they will still learn, then I think we're doing our students and children a disservice by not, in some ways, letting them make mistakes and letting them fail because life isn't like that. We all have transitions and we all have challenges. So I think if children can learn to accept that we all have limitations and the sun will still come up and my parents will still love me and my teacher will still teach me, then I think it's a really important lesson in life for children from a young age because I've seen children, young adults get to university never having made a mistake in their life and they get to university and they may fail their first subject because, oh my God, and what do we do now? And it's devastating. It'll be okay. It will be okay,
It is
but it's
okay.
devastating the first time.
So perhaps this is your point of view for tomorrow. Everything's
Yes,
okay. They go the right way. He will do the best and be the best version of himself,
absolutely.
and everything's okay. Just let them go their way and reach
Yes.
their biggest potential ever. And
Mm,
the best thing you can do, let them go,
yeah,
because up to here, to 20, you had 22 years time
that's right.
where you did the basics and
Yes,
they have it inside. If
yes.
they do not always watch or the whole day watch TV, of course they can do, but
Hmm.
they didn't do it with you, with a father like you,
No.
the whole day because they had a lot of time to evolve their
Mm,
special me.
absolutely.
So I
Yep.
think
I'll remember that tomorrow as I'm handing my son over.
Yeah, let me know.
Absolutely.
So I wish you good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you, Ulrich.
And we wish the people who are listening to our podcasts that they think about some points of view and
Mm,
take a new, perhaps a new inner attitude to the kids, to their own kids, to let them grow.
absolutely. Well said. Let them grow and let them go,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yes.
the world will be okay. Very true. Beautiful.
Have a good evening. See you soon. And
Thanks, Ulrich.
wishing you the best for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.